Hello, and welcome back to Downtime Activities, and welcome back to Skygate, our 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign that takes place almost entirely underground. Last time, you guys did some busy work around the city, got some information, got some equipment, got some stuff done, met some nefarious enemies for the future, I'm sure, and now have your next expedition decided on. The plan is to go to a ruined field discovered by a previous expedition related to Vickelroy that had met with maybe not the most success. Some of you have more context to that than the others, but at any rate, you have a path. You know the basically direct route to get to the edge of this ruined field, and can head that way. The next expedition will be ready in a day's time if you guys want it to be.
Maybe they met with so much success.
Ooh,
that
that's a
just
good
weighed
idea.
them down so much that they're still on their way back.
That's wishful thinking. Yeah, that's probably what happened. I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That's totally what happened.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
They maybe date. Maybe did what?
maybe he did, maybe he didn't. What did he maybe do?
Maybe it's later.
Maybe she's born with it.
Look, yeah. So did we stat out how far this trip takes and how many supplies we need, etc.?
It's going to be a kind of generic supply amount. It's similar to what the previous ones have been, but that will be enough to make this trek.
Okay.
So you don't have to change the way you guys do things to make this particular journey work.
Perfect. Yeah, I guess there's not much else we can be off.
Okay.
I don't think there's any specific piece of camp equipment or anything we really need.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Let me take a look here.
I let Ngaro know he's doing a great job, and I'm very proud of him.
Do you want to leave him with another spell to practice while we're gone?
Oh yeah. You know, he's a grown lad. He needs to learn how to defend himself. I'm gonna have him practice Blade Ward while we're gone.
Blade Ward. Okay. He will try to learn the Blade Ward cantrip while you are away.
Nice.
Good job.
Nice.
Helpful for any wizard who's running away from his problems.
All right. Well, if you guys set out, the next morning, if you say you're ready to do an expedition, next morning, Ignacio and Sherlina will be waiting for you outside with a wagon fully loaded with enough supplies for a decent journey.
What makes these goats are still alive?
It is, they've done surprisingly well.
Well, off we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not emotionally
And away you
attached
go.
to the goats because I still only call them the goats, even though they have names
Yeah.
and have been with
You
us
guys have done a
all
good job not getting emotionally attached because you know what could very easily happen to them. Setting out, you guys have your path, so it's kind of a straightforward trek to get to the edge of this ruined field. I would like, it's going to be like about a 2-week journey to get to the edge of this ruined field. It's fairly close. It's kind of like knowing the exact route to take. It doesn't take all that long to get there in the grand scheme of things. But for the sake of this, I would like 2 random encounter rolls. I'd like one from Lala and one from Dermir.
Round.
D20.
Gotta put my suit in. At 6.
A crit and a 6.
A crit and a 6, you say?
Oh, no.
6, just fine. On a crit, I'd like you to roll it 2 more times.
18. 13.
Stop rolling high. Jesus.
18 and 13.
That means this means when we get into combat, he roll.
Thing, and, you know, the fact that it was 1813.
Good weather. Maybe.
Probably.
Maybe.
At least at
no
some
good
point.
bowling yet, so it's
Good fishing out here. Probably.
good fishing.
Good feet.
Wait a minute.
Is it a drow in a hole?
No, just give me a moment.
It's a Duergar in a hole. It's even better.
Well, sure. You, near the end of this journey, are going to happen upon some ruins, it turns out.
Oh. Would you believe?
Not the ruins we were expecting.
Not the what?
Not the ruins we were expecting.
Not well. There's so basically, for the sake of this, you guys are going to make good time traveling these 2 weeks. I would like a survival check from you, Will, from Candle, just for kind of guiding through this. And this is an Underdark survival check.
That is 19 then.
You're able to navigate. You know the path. You go through it efficiently. There's not a whole lot that hampers you. And as you guys are getting closer, you do start to notice signs of ruins starting to pop up. It's like little bits and chunks of building and stuff like that. And you can see that there's a bit of a like fungal growth on them in this area. It seems like it's kind of a not like a wet in the terms of like there's not like a big body of water, but it's kind of dank and a little wetter of a cavern area that you're getting to, and it does seem to be a bit overgrown with mosses and molds and mushrooms in this area.
Interesting.
Myconids, perhaps?
Perhaps. Perchance. Oh, I have my book of mushrooms. Can I glean anything from examining the...
Go ahead and give me an investigation.
There's a 21.
A 21. With a 21, you are quite confident that whatever's growing around down here is not in that book.
Probably not edible, too. Everyone keep it out of your mouths.
Heroic dose. Prepared to be tripping balls for the rest of the campaign.
Anyone who's not from the Underdark or Skygate, if you're from the surface, roll me a history.
That's quite good.
It's a 15.
15? 15, 19, and what?
12.
12. With a 12, this architecture
Yeah.
of the kind of ruins you're seeing seem kind of... Wait, what did Lala roll as well?
Dirty 20.
What was yours? Dirty 20. Okay. With everybody but the dirty 20, basic. Well, no, the 12, you recognize that the buildings and the kind of style of this is kind of more reminiscent of the surface than of what you've seen in the Underdark so far. With a 15 and a 19, to differing levels, you guys can tell that this is like these structures are not practical for the Underdark. The kind of style of this architecture is very not Underdarky, and it very much is like reminiscent of the kind of architecture that exists in a lot of the surface cities in this mountain range. With a dirty 20, you recognize that this is not only absolutely surface construction, but this is very in line with a style of architecture. For whatever reason, Lala's read about this. There's a style of architecture that was very common in this mountain range, probably at least hundreds, if not thousands of years ago. that was a common style of construction for buildings in the mountains of this mountain range for a culture of humans that lived here many, many, many years ago.
Oh.
Interesting.
It's like fallen London.
Yeah.
The bats stole it and put it underground.
Yeah.
And looking around, like kind of thinking in context of where you're at, you would know that while you are in the Underdark, you're reasonably close to the surface compared to other parts of the Underdark. And the sort of cavern around you as you get into here, you can tell has gone through quite a bit of tectonic shift up above and stuff. It's less like the kind of open, like rough rock, like flat surface, and it's more like large rocks that are loose but like pounded together, kind of sealing up the roof of the cave above you.
Interesting.
It seems like this ruined field may be from above, not below.
Interesting. Well, that makes it way less valuable. Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Interesting. Huh. Okay, so it's a fallen surface city rather than like an ancient Duragar city or something like that that's lost to time. Okay. And it's full of mushrooms that none of you should eat.
It's full of unidentified fungal infestation.
All right.
They're very like. It's not just mushroom. It is like moss and overgrowth and things that are just like dank and kind of a bit of a like musty scent to them. But none of them are something that like a lot of you recognize from other parts of the Underdark that you've seen so far, and it's certainly nothing that's inside that book.
Huh. Interesting.
Well, onwards, I suppose.
The botanist in me is like, I wonder if I could use some of these in a stew.
Fireball.
You
Fireball. Every mushroom. Fireball.
you guys start heading in, and this is kind of like a week and a half into your trip. You notice the first of these kind of buildings, and they're like partially have some of this growth on them. As you get further and further closer to where they got to the edge of this ruined field, it becomes more and more apparent, more and more regular that you're seeing chunks of building with this overgrowth on them. And as you get kind of into the true ruined field proper, you can kind of see stretched out before you what looks like the better part of a small city or large town that seems to have crashed through some sort of great tectonic shift above and is scattered through this huge ruined field. And it is clear to see and smell, even from the edge of this large ruined field, that this place is musty and overgrown with whatever this kind of growing vine and moss and fungus is all about it.
Gas masks it is.
Yep, I suppose.
Yep.
Sounds like a gas mask situation to me. Everyone put on your PPE.
Set up camp outside the exclusion zone and
Mask up. Stay 6 feet apart.
Are there signs of any other
Fungal
camp?
distancing.
Are there signs of any other camp here, or
Give me a you can make a survival or a perception. It'll tell you different things.
well, it's the same score, so let's go for survival since I'm in the Underdark. I guess it's not related specifically to the Underdark, but
I would say it is because you're looking for signs of somebody setting up an Underdark camp, which is different than a normal camp.
19.
19. You don't notice any signs of like other camp having been set up here recently, but you also know, unless it was set up and left behind, you probably wouldn't with how long it's been. So you would think that either there wasn't a camp here, or if there was a camp here, it was packed up and brought with people going into this place, not they were using it as a base camp and then left from there and didn't return to their camp.
See, that's what I would have expected, but maybe the fungalness wasn't here when they were.
Interesting.
We have seen like the Myconid spies, so
Yeah, they have been wandering.
maybe there's things going on in the Myconid political world. Stuff is shifting
The
around.
world is a wide, wide place.
The world is a vampire.
Set to drain.
I would even say it was sent to Dre Yay.
Wow, the emphasis makes it more important.
Exactly.
Well, let's set up camp and let's go poke around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go see what's in the rooms.
Investigation.
All right. You guys can certainly set up your camp. I assume you're leaving behind your wagon with your supplies and your 2 goats. Not asking that in any sort of foreboding way.
I'd like to use my new trick that I have.
Okay.
For reaching level 6, I can now merge with my raven. So I basically become my familiar, and I can use that to fly around.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to use that to scout ahead a little bit,
All right.
or to get a bird's eye view. That's a much better way of
Interesting.
putting it. It's I'll fly up high and see if I notice anything.
Do you guys
from
want
up
me to
above.
wait with the goats?
I'll cast alarm on the goats.
Ah, smart.
Our goats can defend themselves. They've done it so far.
Yeah, it's fine.
But I will at least cast alarm on the goats.
I just
Okay.
want to get a bird's eye view
Poor
because
goats.
it's a new thing I can do.
Give me just one moment to look at this thing.
Venus flytraps that love eating crows specifically.
Huh.
I was looking at spells I could take, and I was like,
So are you flying up above, or are you trying to fly down into the city
I'm gonna
proper?
try to fly up above.
Up above.
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead and give me a perception.
because that's an angle that we can't otherwise get.
He's putting the game in top-down view.
Yeah.
Yes. You're going tactical view mode.
That's only a 6.
Only a 6. All you can really tell is that a lot of these buildings are crumbled, crushed, and destroyed. But there is 2 larger buildings that are not necessarily more intact, but at least more recognizable, probably due to their size. One looks like it was probably some sort of keep or kind of citadel castle sort of deal, and one seems like it was a larger, it's just a larger kind of, it looks more like a church or temple of some sort. But those 2 are the only like buildings that look different than the rest of the ruin field.
Okay. I'll make a note of their general directions and say, do you guys think that we should go for the castle or the church?
Which one's?
I vote temple.
I vote whichever one's closer to where we are, which for some reason I assume is the temple.
Sure.
I'm with that one.
Yeah.
Which one is giving it a bird's eye view closer? As the crow flies, as you might say.
The temple would be closer.
Okay.
Because for some reason I just imagine that, based off of regular level design, that the temple's probably in the middle of town and the castle's probably on the far side of town. But maybe that's not the case. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll go for the temple then. We'll start headed in that direction.
Okay. Who's taking the kind of lead here?
Probably
Probably our scout.
probably the guide.
Probably the guy. And I assume you guys have a source of light for those of you who can't see without.
Yes, we would
I
need
will
light for lava.
cast dancing lights.
Yeah, dancing lights from lava, so she can see. And
Okay.
Vagar.
And so that Theogar can see.
Yeah, I have something to see where I'm going.
All right. So moving through, go ahead and give me a survival check to kind of help traverse through this space. And you guys get to ignore difficult terrain because of your features. That's something. That's a thing.
Nice.
So you'll get to
At the very
while
least,
navigating
I
this.
can ignore
This
difficult terrain.
this is absolutely difficult terrain through a lot of this, as this is a field of
See,
crumbled
Let
building.
me double check to see if it's just me or if it's the whole group. I think
Okay.
it's the whole group.
Pretty sure.
Difficult terrain doesn't slow your group's travel.
Okay.
We can't become
So you're not
lost
gonna be
except
slowed down?
by magical means.
Nice.
Very nice. So go ahead and give me that survival check
With or without the Underdark bonus.
with Underdark bonus.
That would take it to 18.
18, quite good. You moving through here, you can tell that there is kind of a loose cloud of spores or something kind of misty and spore-like in the air around here. You're not sure if it would be harmful or not, but there is certainly kind of like, it would at least be really unpleasant to breathe and smell. And it seems like your guys' masks are doing a lot of good for you in relation to that. But kind of moving into this area here, you guys are able to kind of traverse. You're able to keep a good path and kind of beeline it through this. It seems like, as far as like valuables are concerned, just with the little bit you're seeing as you go by, like it's hard to really find any valuables without having to do like some pretty significant excavation of the kind of scattered buildings around here, you would think. But getting to the outside of this temple building, it is pretty clear to see that it is a temple by the kind of shape of it. And it seems like where it landed and how it landed, it's fairly well held together. It seems like it didn't collapse in on itself so much as just land down here and stays pretty structurally sound. And looking at it, like kind of remarkably well so, like a building like this should have crumbled much worse than it did, but seems to have held up better than you would expect. There is a sort of...
Was looking out for it.
What was that?
Perhaps its patron god was looking out for it.
Potentially.
I know
There
anything.
is...
Oh, go ahead.
There is a symbol on the front.
Oh no, religion
Who's
checks.
got a religion? Oh wait, we have a priest.
I can religion.
Okay, roll a religion.
As well, if
Have-
you don't know
I have a
what it
+3.
is.
Oh. Well,
12.
he's rolling.
12.
Can we roll?
12 is enough.
Yeah, 12
If
is
you
enough.
want, 12 is enough to know that the symbol on the front looks like a cog. And you would know that this is a church of Gond, the god of crafting.
Yeah. See, if
And
I know
it's-
anything, there's an artifact in there, the artifact of Gond, and we'll pull it out and be like, aha, look at this valuable
And then
thing,
the place
the whole
will
place
fall,
will
yeah.
start falling. Yeah.
And then it all comes down. And looking at it after seeing that symbol makes a lot more sense. This is a like meticulously well constructed temple. It seems like this temple was built by people whose whole religion is building things well, and therefore it is in remarkably good condition for what it's gone through.
Fair enough. All right. Well, let's crack it open. Is there like a
Okay.
window or anything that we can?
It looks like there were windows that have kind of shattered that you could try and kind of crawl in from the side. It's like a long rectangular building, but there is absolutely like a set of front doors that have kind of were probably made of wood and have shattered and kind of broken in on themselves. But looking at it, go ahead and roll me one more survival check from you, Candle.
Worse, merely an 11.
Merely an 11. An 11 is still enough to know that this front doorway here is not just like passable, but it looks like it's been cleared, somewhat intentionally so.
All right.
We might be.
We're on the trail.
We might be on the trail.
All right. Well, let me send in someone not as important first. I'll send in the bird to like through the front door to make sure there's not
Hey.
like big mushroom man ready, like waiting around the corner to just like punch.
He's sitting there with his
Yeah.
adventuring party, Brick.
It's one of the mushrooms from the first Dark Souls.
Yeah.
The ones that walk really slowly and punch really slowly, but it's like a freak.
Yeah, it's like when he hits you. Ugh.
It is worth saying your raven does not have a gas mask, and it's not like falling over and like bursting into flames or something like that. But it is like its eyes are watery. Its breathing is labored. When you look through its senses, you're looking through the senses of an animal that is very uncomfortable. And it seems like it's like breathing air that's in an area where like a bunch of like lumber mill work is being done and like sawdust is in the air. It's like its eyes kind of sting. It's having a hard time breathing. It's not pleasant at all. And so you get a harder flying and like trying to view through its eyes. It's not super clear, but it's not super pleasant. But you can see as it kind of flies in that there is a cart that has been positioned kind of centrally inside of this long rectangular building. You can see that there's a lot of like broken up, like what were probably pews or something like that have been all kind of cleared to the edges of this temple. And there's clearly like a kind of circular setup place around this cart that's very similar to the cart you guys brought with you that appears to be housing or be the setup of a camp. There's signs of bedrolls. There's signs of like a fire pit area near the center of this sort of camp setup. You don't see any sign of any people, but that much is very clear. There's also the sign of two probably long dead large goats.
Aw,
I was gonna ask if the goats are still attached to the cart.
yeah, Ripperino.
They don't seem to be like attached to the front of the cart, but there seemed to be like a little sort of area there. They set up like a pin for them, kind of built out of some of this scrap wood, and they seem to be kind of slumped over and dead, also overgrown up with some of this fungus inside of it.
Well, let's go check out Gritch's old camp, I guess.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
say that there's a camp up ahead, an old one. That, we knew we were on the trail, so
I'd like to go look around the camp.
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe roll
Alright.
an investigation.
Yeah, you guys can roll investigations, looking around inside here. Anyone who'd like to?
My investigation's terrible.
That's a
Sure,
15.
why not? 18.
18.
6.
Malayan. CX.
I'm too overcome with emotion to finally have found their camp that I am just no use.
My friend.
Yeah, very sad. Looking around this camp, you can tell that, or looking around this whole kind of structure, you can tell that this place was pretty well set up and established, like some time was spent to set this up as a base camp. You can tell that there's no signs of any of the people here. You don't see anybody like that was a part of any sort of like adventuring group. There's no humanoid corpses that you can find here. You do find some like bits and pieces of bone that could be human or humanoid, but they seem very old, probably priests of this temple and its original collapse more so than like recent adventurers. And all of that is like very sparse to find, as most of that is completely overgrown in this area or covered in rubble. You can also, the 18, tell that there is sort of a back section of this that seemed to be even more well crafted. There is a doorway that seems like it was essentially like a vault door that seems to be made of like pretty heavy duty metal, and it is open. The vault behind it is empty. And the rest of you, looking through the cart, can see that there is quite a bit of fine metal craftsmanship items inside of the back of this cart. It seems like this cart is fairly well laden with like masterwork level craftsmanship, like tools. There's some that are like shields and swords and weapons and stuff like that, but a majority of it seems like it's really finely crafted craftsman's tools. Picks, hammers, shovels, scythes, all sorts of like functional tools that seem to be very, very well made.
The crafting clans will probably pay
Yeah.
good money for these.
Well, we can. So I think I'm gonna put a hypothesis here. Is they had a similar idea to us. They went towards the church, set up base camp there, and then moved towards the castle from here. So that might be like our best bet of like gaining more information from that. Is go from here to the castle and see if that. But I can Tensor's floating disc our spoils here back to the cart in the meantime.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to bring the goats down here.
Yes.
One, because it's unpleasant, and two, we don't want them to see the other dead goats.
It's a little.
Yeah. You don't
A
want to
little,
traumatize
little
them.
morbid.
Yeah,
Look
we don't-
away,
yeah.
Ignacio. You do not want to see what lies in here.
He's like my cousin.
No. So is the plan to then try and cart this stuff out of here first and then go towards the keep?
I think
Is that the thought?
Let's go ahead and get.
We don't
this
know
stuff
how
out.
fast of an exit we'll need from the keep. I'd rather have the getaway car loaded before we have to beat a retreat.
Right.
Sounds good. That
Takes a little bit of extra time, but I think whatever's in the castle can wait for if it takes super long, then we can camp overnight. But if it's just takes an extra hour, then I think it's worth the preparation time.
Yeah, whatever's in the castle has waited this long.
Yeah.
It will probably wait a couple of hours.
Okay. So it'll take a little bit of time, but you can certainly load this stuff up on there. And taking the time to kind of look through and do this is like the Tensor's floating disc, between you guys like carrying what you can carry, I guess you do have also your portable hole as well as this Tensor's floating disc. You'll be able to like load stuff up well enough to transport it fairly easily. It is a lot, and you can tell that this place, it's like some of it seems finely crafted in a practical sense. A lot of it seems finely crafted in a sort of like, this is almost like ritualistically so. Like this is not a hammer that's necessarily meant for crafting with. It's a hammer that is meant to be ornate and beautiful and is like a ritualistic construction tool that'd be functionally usable, but probably more so like a relic in their eyes than it is
I
a
could
tool.
use this to build something, but it looks a lot better on my wall than it does.
Yeah, or it's like I would only use this to build something in the name of Gond, you know, like it's these are very like ritual crafting supplies. And there is a lot of finely crafted stuff here. And apart from just the tools and stuff, as you kind of dig through this, you can see that it's also just like a large amount of precious materials, and like a lot of it being ingots of gold, ingots of silver, ingots of different other like crafting metals, irons and steels and stuff like that, and a pretty large amount of them. It's quite heavy. That's why it's a bit hard to move all of this stuff, but there's a lot of it, and it seems like it's a pretty good haul of stuff from this place.
If anybody wants
Mission accomplished. We can just turn around.
If anybody wants fancy equipment made when we get back, this seems to be the hall from which to do it.
For it, yeah.
Yep.
Sounds.
You think there's probably some amount of potentially mithril and or adamantine in here as well.
Interesting.
You mean to tell me I could make Mandalorian art?
Light as a feather, tough as dragon scales.
Cool. Yeah, we'll load it up. Nice thing about having plenty of utility spells and or items, we can move these sorts of things without too much trouble.
You spend the time and effort and are able to make it back to your camp outside of this place and drop that stuff off.
How are we doing on time? Does it seem like we have time to route our way back to the castle or the keep?
You'd be getting close to the end of the day if you were to do that now, but you'd be like arriving there close to the end of your like working day. You'd think with your like current travel pace, but it's certainly doable.
Let's set up and rest for the night, and then we can tackle it in the morning. Because I'd hate to get all the way out there and then it's like we're working on exhaustion levels, you know, because we have to. It's like, oh yeah, now you've been up for, you know, while you're trying to make your escape, you are all burned out. So I think that'll be the responsible choice for this scenario.
Yeah.
I'll cast my tiny hut, and we can rest inside of it. Hopefully, the air is a little bit better in there, because we were out on the edge of it. For our camp. So
Yeah,
that should be
you're
okay.
kind of outside of. There's like trace bits of it kind of floating in the air in general in this large cavern, but it's not like that same miserable, unbreathable mess. And inside of your like little bubble, you'll be able to make a clean air pocket, I'd say. Moving back through here, it feels a little bit like you guys all kind of get the like hair standing up on the back of your neck kind of feeling of being watched as you're moving this stuff out of there, but nothing seems to bother or attack you.
Interesting. All right.
Should we have
I'm gonna watch.
prayed to Gond first? Or?
I fire off a quick prayer to Gond and the Raven Queen for their blessings.
Roll me a religion.
Religion. Ironically, I only have a 1 in religion. It's a 6er.
It's a 6er. You think you do you get like this kind of sinking feeling in your stomach, like maybe that wasn't actually a very good prayer. You feel the disappointment of a god, but not like enough so like it really cares about you. Just like, really, you call that prayer?
That's the best
You
you
get
can
the eye roll of a god.
Like that's all you can do. I finally get prayed to. And
And this is what it looks like. You robbed my relics from my long lost temple, and this is the thanks I get.
We're bringing them back to civilization
Yeah.
for a new generation
What's
of
the
worshippers.
point of a hammer if no one's gonna swing it, right?
Hey, that's absolutely a
grassroots
Gandhian
mentality
mentality.
right
That
there.
he can get behind.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, oh, I should roll my D12 to see what constellation I have for this upcoming adventure.
That'll be like the next morning.
Yeah.
So we can have you ready to do that.
Oh, yeah,
But a couple
assuming
other
that
things need to happen
something
first.
happens over
A couple
there.
other new things happen first. Yeah. Overnight, nothing seems to really happen to you guys like in your little hut. You seem safe. Nothing attacks you. You're able to get a long rest. However, one of you will have a fairly vivid dream during this night, and that one is actually going to be Dormir. As Dormir, you're sleeping, and then you kind of get this like sense that like, oh, I need to wake up. I feel the need to wake up. And your eyes kind of open, and looking around, you're like, this isn't where I fell asleep at. You see around you, you are in what looks like, it almost looks like the Bronze Tap, like it's a drinking hall, but it's empty. It's long lines of tables with little stools up against them, but nobody seems to be there besides one individual down at kind of the far end. As you kind of wake up sitting at one of these stools, you see what looks like a dwarf made out of like a gilded bronze metal, sitting with a mug in front of him, taking a big gulp of it and setting it down and kind of looking straight forward, not looking at you.
Moradin's great golden ball sits. Gone? Or Moradin? I don't know.
I will say yes, the drink of a troubadour.
Just loudly in this empty tavern.
And you see this kind of heavy, like muscled golden figure kind of let in like a deep breath and just go and take a swig from his mug.
It's the god of Trudorfism.
And he's depressed.
I'm the god of troubadours.
You're the prophet of Trudorf.
Could be both. Jesus was both.
Jesus was both.
Yeah, everybody who's thought they were Jesus turned out to be on the right side of history, I've been told.
I'm gonna get up and. So you said he's like on the other side of the bar?
He's down the same table you're sitting at. He's just much further down sitting at.
I'll go and try to go sit next to him.
Okay. You sit down next to him, and you see him like reach out of your view and seem to like apparate a mug out of nowhere and set it down in front of you, and you can see it. There's a kind of golden ale sloshing inside of it.
I will down it.
Take a number.
Okay. You down it. This guy downs his, sets it down, and he turns and looks at you with the eyes I can only describe of as like a disappointed father, with the look on his face.
Somehow I knew those two words were coming. As soon as he's like eyes up, I can always go like he's about to say disappointed father.
And he turns and looks at you, and he says, 2 cantrips? You sold your soul to a devil for 2 cantrips? And you see as he like reaches back for his mug, it's somehow full again, even though he just polished it off. And he turns away from you and shakes his head again and takes another big swig from his mug.
You were this close to 4th level spell slots.
I just go, I only do anything I do for Trudorfism and for the glory of Moradin.
And he will say, while I appreciate your eagerness to please, I believe you may be going about things in a rather foolish manner. Moradin's great hall cannot welcome your soul if it's burning in the hells. I should know. I'm the aspect of Moradin. He's taking a big swig of his mug.
I do what I do for my kin, not for me.
Well, I suppose I hope that it works out for you. But by essentially my great golden balls, that was a pretty rash decision.
Why, it's not as if I gave myself a 50-50 chance as to whether I would pick this or not.
It seemed like a bit of a coin flip to me.
Oh man, I'll give Jeremy one thing. He has some fucking great golden balls to literally be talking to Moradin like, yeah, I did it. What do you gonna say about it?
What of it? What are you gonna do about it?
I shall reconsider.
I think it's a bit late for that, buddy.
Then why are you talking to me?
Well, I suppose, as the aspect of Moradin, it's my task to exhibit Moradin's feelings in a tangible way to his followers. All that to say, the big man in the great golden hall's a bit disappointed in you. That's why you're having this dream.
Thank you for making that so eloquent and clear.
That's what being a true dwarf is all about.
Unlike the slithering snake you made that deal with, Moradin and his aspects tend to speak plain. And plainly put, you sold your soul for a couple cantrips. And that's a pretty dumb move.
Unless you're getting Eldritch Blast, then it's totally worth it.
But do you know that I have 2d10 plus 2 and firebolts?
Yeah, I don't understand the exact context of what you've just said, but throwing fire and beguiling people into your beliefs is, well, guess it'll come in handy.
But is it very true dwarf of you?
I regret disappointing Moradin. But I have bigger ambitions than what Moradin can give.
Oh wow. That's a statement.
Well, look, like I said, I'm only essentially Moradin. I'm not actually Moradin. I don't know what he thinks of you. I suppose if he really disagreed with what you were doing, he would revoke your ability to call on his name and bring forth powers in general. But he doesn't usually send these dreams to the people he's the most proud of and the most in support of their actions. So, do with that as you will, I guess.
This whole conversation is just completely in a meaninglessness. I will just say, I just down whatever I can.
And it's you look down and your mug is the mugs are always full in the halls of Moradin. He says, well, enjoy Moradin's great golden brew, for I worry you will never taste it again, apart from in dreams such as these. And I hope whatever comes of this, it furthers Moradin's name, and that you remember, as a cleric of Moradin, that is your goal. Not to further your own name, but to do by Moradin's tenets.
Hilarious.
I thought it was about to be like, don't tell me what to do.
I'm still a big fan of by Moradin's great golden balls. It's Moradin.
And his great golden balls. And he just shakes his head and mumbles into his tankard, 2 cantrips. And then you kind of blink hard and wake up, and it is the next morning, and you are back in Lehman's tiny hut.
To all fairness to me, I didn't know it was only 2 cantrips. I thought it might be more. And I also rolled
Listen,
big cookie points for it.
the thing is, it was all worth it just for that. That was hilarious. From my perspective, I'm like, great job.
yeah.
Candle was religious.
Yeah. Like,
Just so we had the chance to encounter more of these religious experiences.
it just reminds me of, oh, son, for that you sold your immortal soul?
Well, I wasn't using it.
Well, what you?
I just love that response. 2 cantrips. You sold your soul for 2 cantrips.
Well, they're juiced up, more powerful than 2 cantrips.
They are very powerful.
They are. They are.
It almost felt like you were about to give her the ability to you directly.
I was really trying to like
Oh.
get this like image of Moradin into this weird like logical loophole.
Like a lot
He seems a bit simple. Too simple for loopholes. For what is that called? Paradox, time travel paradox that you can't not put on.
Still one of the funniest jokes I've seen for like time paradoxes. It's a time paradox. I can't not put them on.
I can't not put it on.
No, parasocks, and there they are. I can't not put them on. And then he puts the socks on.
Whoa!
Like,
Like
Still
turns into a
one of
little
the
portal and
funniest
disappears.
Versions of that joke.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But you all awaken the next morning, and that's that. You awaken.
I will recast alarm on the goats.
Okay.
We set up.
I get a 4 on my D12.
Oh, let's see what that is. How did the roll for that go? I didn't see you roll.
Oh,
Did you roll it into the little cup holder?
Yeah, I rolled it right here on my tabletop.
Okay. And nothing weird happened, right?
I don't think so.
Well, he did pick it up, looked at it, and said,
I looked at it and went, it's a 4.
Okay, okay.
Well, did I get the perfect
Interesting. You get Corax, the Ox, which is the spell Haste
Oh.
for free today.
one? Oh, that is quite good. If I could pick one, I would
Now,
have probably picked that.
all right. Here's Energy. Here's what you do.
Right.
You cast haste on yourself. Drink a potion of invisibility.
Right.
And you vanish.
Right.
And then the next round,
I
you
hang
use a
out
bolt
there.
of darkness and detonate a gunpowder barrel you're standing
Right.
next to.
That was it.
For some reason.
For some reason.
For some
That's
reason.
an inside joke.
If you know, you know.
That's for us.
You'll throw alchemist fire at your feet right next to a gunpowder barrel. All right. You have the ability to cast haste today.
The stairs is very funny.
All right. I can.
Cool.
And that doesn't expend a spell slot, right? It's just like I get.
It is a once a day. You just can cast that spell using its normal rules for free. Concentration and action economy and stuff still applies, but it does not expend another resource.
Nice. Well, someone is going to be going real fast. It might be me. It might be our front line. Who knows?
It might be one of the goats.
Who knows?
It might be one of the goats. Yeah.
Someone has to tell your story.
Why
So
don't we
the
just-
plan
why
is
don't we just
to-
get an extra handful of goats and put saddles on them and use them like horses.
I don't know. Why don't you? I can cast Phantom Steed, so I don't. I'm pretty good either way. But
I almost said I'm saving up for a riding lizard, but then I had a brief flashback to every time we hit town, I just
And you
blow
spend all
all
your
of
money.
my money on something
I'm saving
insane.
up for a
And
riding
it's
lizard.
like, well,
Cuts to
I'm
our
not
debauchery.
really. Cuts to renting private boxes at the opera house every time we get back to town. Stuff like that.
Your consumerism has made you a victim to your line of work.
Gotta live well while we can, you know.
Yeah, YOLO.
All right. Well, I guess we'll put our PPE back on and
Head for the castle.
head for the castle. I would like to, if I don't know if it's like more of a circuitous route, but I think going to the temple first and then to the castle might lead us with some more clues.
Okay.
That's just a hunch.
It's slightly more circuitous, but it will add like 20 to 30 minutes. Like it's not a massive difference in your path.
I'm interested to see if it will yield further clues.
Okay.
Since that's
All right.
like the
Let's get a survival from X or from Kent.
From Axel. Uh-oh.
We're screwed.
Dirty 20.
30-20. You're able to maneuver this quite well. You take what you think is certainly the most efficient and best path every step of the way, and while doing so, with the 20, you notice the signs that somebody else has probably done exactly the same thing, though it was some time ago. As you can notice the sign of like things being shifted and moved, passing of the passage of people, but it does seem like somebody else took the exact same route essentially that you are taking from this temple to this keep.
All right.
That's where all our answers are. All I need to do is survive long enough to find them.
Yeah, hey, as far as I'm concerned, we've had a successful expedition so far. So anyone you walk away from at this point is
Everything else is just gravy.
yeah.
And you will arrive outside of this keep. It seems like it wasn't like it seems like it was like a keep building, not like a wall around a castle kind of like it's like a central stone keep that's kind of half crumbled in on itself, but still in fairly decent shape. Almost as if it was built in a town where there was a temple of God, and so it was constructed really well.
Front door or gate open or closed?
It seems like there is a front gate. You can see that there was like, it's kind of like half sunk into some of the rubble. And there is like a portcullis that looks like it is dropped down, like it's broken loose. But it looks like it's been kind of shifted up, and you can see some stone propped up underneath it to kind of hold it to be high enough up that somebody could crawl, like kind of squat under and go back and forth through it. You're not sure if that's just like fortuitous how it landed in this rubble, or if it was intentionally done after the fact without getting closer.
I guess we get closer.
Yeah, let's go take a look.
Okay. Roll another survival check. Not a particularly high stakes one, but does give you a little bit of context.
24.
24. You can tell that this was done after the fact. It seems like the same people probably who took this path here, with like kind of basically had somebody prop this thing up and rolled a stone over, letting it land on the stone to keep it up high enough that people could go through it.
All right. Well, signs of human movement, which we already knew, but further signs.
Well, it's just specifically this is how they got it. So
So probably at least somewhat safe enough to.
if we follow their path exactly, we'll find what killed them. Perhaps in the same manner in which it
On
killed them.
second thought, maybe we should take a different way around. Yeah, through the portcullis, I guess. Unless anybody has any bright ideas.
I'll just go ahead and go in through the portcullis.
There we go. Shuffle it forward.
All right. You guys shuffle into this, what looks like it was once a grand entry hall to a small keep, and is in disrepair, certainly, but in okay shape overall, I suppose. You can tell that there's kind of a passageway that looks like it goes upward, like a stone staircase that's kind of crumbled in on itself. There's gaps in it, but it could be like traversed to get up to what was like an upper floor, as well as a passageway that seems to go kind of deeper into the first floor.
Probably finish exploring the first floor before we try the second.
I think so.
Okay, we'll
Okay.
explore deeper in.
All right. Okay. Interesting. So you
So are we
guys,
running
sorry,
from-
you're going
so
up
are we
deeper
running
into the
from-
first floor.
Are we running from a boulder now,
Yes.
or?
Yes, of course. You're going deeper into the first floor. That's what you
Yeah,
said.
I think so.
Okay. Kind of going deeper into that passageway. It seems to kind of branch out into this hallway. It kind of branches out into like a back hallway behind this main entry chamber. It goes towards the left and towards the right. Towards the left seems to be, you can see like some rooms, like some doorways down that way that seem to be in decent shape still. Towards the right seems to go for a ways and then kind of crumble into a kind of downward cascading like breakdown in that hallway essentially. It's not like overcome with like rubble. It seems like it's fallen out into something and like goes downward further.
Let's go look at the spot where it's all crumbled in downward.
Okay. Heading over to that, it seems to crumble in downward into a pile of rubble that seems to descend deep dark beyond the level of your dark vision and your light spell into a deep cavernous opening below this place. It looks like it's, and looking at it, go ahead and roll me a survival, Underdark survival candle.
I was gonna say, that seems bad.
17.
17, it seems more recent. The kind of nature of how this is crumbled in. And being inside this castle, it definitely looks like you are, in here it is the worst. Like their vision is very overcome with particulate floating in the air. It is hard to see inside of here, especially with these masks on. It seems like a concentration of the deep dark dankness of this place centralizes in this keep. And it seems like this kind of cave-in is more recent than any of the other crumbling that's gone on around here.
No, we're about to encounter. We're about to.
You just got blanked out again, Jerry.
Yeah,
I said
every time you start talking, you like get the first couple words in, and then it's just like.
Damn it!
Discord is like,
I said
whatever he's saying isn't important.
we're gonna encounter Bobby. Aren't we?
Not Bobby.
Bobby,
Damn it, Bobby.
Dank, Bobby Dank Pickle Dodgers.
Oh, Bobby Dank Pickle Dodgers, of course.
It is that.
Damn it, Robert.
I give up.
Okay, well, so that would explain where all this
Stuff's
Mike
coming from,
shenanigans is coming from. Yeah. Anything I can do about that with my vast wizard power?
What did you say is farther down this hallway?
The other direction leads to some rooms. So basically, like, it's a T-junction. To the left leads to some rooms. To the right leads to a cave-in descending into darkness.
I want to go check those
there's-
rooms real quick. Partially, I'm not necessarily looking for anything. I'm looking to see if anybody else was in here looking for anything.
Give me a survival check.
Like, if these rooms haven't been searched, then I think we've definitely found what happened to the last expedition. Survival check is a 21.
21. With a 21, it is obvious that these rooms have been picked over. These rooms have been gone through. Any like remaining like wardrobes and things, the doors are open to them. Everything seems to be picked through.
Everything has the empty tag when I walk out.
Yes, exactly. Somebody has looted those rooms.
Do we dare drop a rock in there and see how deep it is?
We'll check the second floor first.
And it's not necessarily like an opening that just descends into, like there's pile up of rubble. Like it is certainly, you could climb down and descend deeper into that darkness. It'd be a little shaky and uneven footing certainly, but it's not like you have to jump down a endless abyss hole. It's like you'd have to climb down into it.
Well, I would hope the path forward in any of these campaigns isn't to jump down a bottomless abyss.
Is alarm a concentration spell? Or is it just like, can you have multiple instances of alarm up at a time? Because you might put, if we put an alarm on this hole, we'll know if something crawls out of it while we go check the second floor. That could be a good thing to...
It is not concentration, it's just 8 hours.
Okay. So that's what I would ask, is if you don't mind burning a spell slot to cast alarm.
Yep. I can cast a second alarm.
Yeah. Just on this hole, so that way while we're out exploring, something doesn't come up behind us.
Okay.
Allah.
That's how we'll know it goes off, is Candle will say that exactly like that.
Okay.
Okay.
So you guys are moving up towards the second floor?
Yep.
The whole group is going to try and make it up the stairway there?
I can fly up there with my raven and then drop a rope to help if that would be feasible. If there's something like I could that was solid.
Okay, I don't know if a raven can like carry a rope,
Well,
like
so
50
when
feet of rope.
When I morph into
Oh, turn into a raven.
Yeah. So
Are you able to do that at will, or is that like a limited number of times
it's
per day?
basically from the description it's at will. If we want to do it something like number of charisma, like if we want to nerf it, because it is like a UA, right? So it's not like
Yeah.
or was it officially published? Let me double check. Raven.
It's definitely a UA, but let me look at what it says.
Yeah, it's the 6th level Soul of the Raven.
Where should become tiny? You can place.
It doesn't have a. It just as a bonus action, I can
During this time, again, the benefits
I don't have
as an action, you and the Raven return to normal. It is worth saying, actually, you will not be able to. I mean, you could fly up there, transform back into yourself. Let's make it that you can transform to and from it a number of times per day, equal to your proficiency bonus.
Okay, that's fair.
Just because the ability to spam back and forth between it seems like
Is
it
what
could be
makes it really
abusable.
good, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I think that
totally.
it's already very strong, but with that, you haven't used it at all yet today, so that's not like going to limit you from doing what you want to do right now. But just for future proofing, we'll say number of times equal to proficiency, you can transform to and from it.
Totally fair. It's basically like a very limited, it had as written unlimited wild shape into a flying creature that it's like,
Yeah.
It's like in combat basically useless. Outside
For
of
exploration,
combat, incredibly useful.
Incredibly, yeah. But so for the sake of this, it's like a partially broken up staircase. It's not necessarily something that a rope. I mean, I guess if you could like tie a rope and have people climb a rope instead of trying to jump across the stairs, or what exactly is your goal
Yeah,
there?
that'd be my
Because it's like a
concept.
stairway that would just require a bit of jumping to get from one
Okay,
chunk
so
to
it's
the
not
next.
like that hazardous of a track.
It seems like what's left is sturdy. It's just like don't fuck up and slip and fall kind of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody's more confident in their strength than their dexterity, essentially, I'll drop a rope for them, and they can climb up if they feel like they have better athletics than acrobatics or something.
Part of the question for me is just like, do you want to just go up and quickly scout the second floor?
Yeah,
There may not be any point in all of us.
that's true. I can just scout it out and see if there's anything up here, and then if I get munched on, then you guys will at least know. Let's just listen for the screaming. So there's that as well. Yeah.
Okay. So looking around, go ahead and give me just like a investigation. Looking around up here.
Investigation. Crit.
Crit. Looking around up here, it looks like people have been up here before, and this place looks like it's been picked over.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Well, it's the hole, boys.
It's the hole.
Okay. So here's the thing. We don't have to go down the hole. We have our loot. There's might be some more loot down the hole, but we have a good haul. So I'll bring that up with the group that we don't have to go down the hole necessarily. We're adventurers in principle, and you know.
I'm not here for loot, I'm here for answers.
Right.
So if you would like to head back, I think I'm going down the hole.
I'm here for loot.
I'm not here for loot.
All right, we're going down the hole.
While
I just
you
wanna be
guys, while this conversation is before this I guess kind of as this conversation is happening, you kind of fly down. You guys are discussing things. Lala, as you're kind of like whatever in this conversation. You're kind of towards the back of this group and sitting there like you guys talking. A sharp pain kind of sticks right into your right shoulder in your back, and you take 18 points of damage.
Whoa, what?
What did I do?
Assassinate.
Assassinate.
18 points? Jesus.
That would have been almost
Alert!
my-
Alarm! Where's our alarm?
No alarm goes off.
Damn.
I really
We can
wish-
roll an initiative here if you guys would like to.
That's probably.
I
Yes.
really wish I hadn't redone the math on my hit points to make them more accurate.
Same thing with my AC.
Also, I'll need you to make a concentration check for dancing lights.
Plus 4, so 19.
19.
19. And then concentration check. So roll this. See if it's 10 or higher, right?
With concentration.
Yeah.
Well, no, this is for coming.
Good.
I'm playing.
Good. Okay, so dancing lights is still. Well, no, it's or half the damage, so 9. So it'd be 10 DC 10.
Yeah. So okay, cool.
What's the highest initiative?
19.
20?
20.
20 is the highest.
I have 20.
Okay,
I have 20.
so 21 beats that, so don't worry about it.
Something
Fuck.
happens.
Oh, you know what?
And-
Do I get stabbed?
I didn't add my initiative, so I'm also look at this because I didn't add the +1. I just rolled
Okay.
a crit.
Okay, roll me another d20 and tell me what the number on it is.
It's a C. Probably
That's a what?
6.
6. Okay. As Lala lets out a yell and twists around, you can see a crossbow bolt sticking out of her back shoulder. And quickly after that, another crossbow bolt sticks her in the stomach, and she will take another 10 damage.
Oh no!
Why are they after you and only you?
Because she's the.
I need another concentration save.
Oh,
Take this dragon and this dragon.
And this dragon.
Alright, roll this. Beat a 10.
no.
Fail.
Fail. The lights go out. What's your AC, Lala?
Huh?
What's your AC?
17.
17. You feel something else whiz right by you, but does not seem to contact the third.
I'm gonna hit. Can I hit the deck?
It's not your turn.
God.
there for a second.
You will be able to.
And the 21 initial next will be it will be Xeraxis.
So I turn around. What do I see? Do I see?
Do you have dark vision?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you turn around, you see an open courtyard. The open courtyard you guys are standing in. You can roll perception.
All right. Let's see. Bad perception. A 15.
A 15. You don't see anything. You see this open courtyard.
I am.
Fight one sooner or later.
Here it
I am
comes.
going to use my action to cast Armor of Agathis. Just red.
Armor of Agathis on yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then ready my weapon.
All right.
And that's it.
Next would be the 20, which I believe was Theogar.
I can't see.
Did you bring any light cantrips? Torches?
No. I have to hold two things during combat.
Yes. Well,
Somebody else?
You are completely blind in this area now.
I will start
Opportunity.
walking towards the direction of the courtyard that the arrows are coming from.
Okay, it seems to be coming like essentially from where the portcullis is, like the open doorway in the front that they seem to come from. You can head 30 feet in that direction, or are you dashing in that direction?
Does the dodge action matter if you can't see? I don't remember.
can't
Let's
imagine
find
it
out.
does.
So I'm continually like covering myself more with a shield.
Yeah.
Light.
Well, Jocelyn will be up here.
Any attack roll made against you has disadvantage if you can see the attacker.
Ah. They planned for this.
Well, Jocelyn will be up to cast dancing lights in literally 2 seconds, so dodge action can still work.
Okay, yeah, I'll take the dodge action and hope somebody turns the lights on.
But you are moving up towards the gateway as well.
Yeah, I'm moving towards wherever the crossbow bolt came from.
Okay, that seems to be like her back was facing towards that, and that's where the first bolt hit her. And when she like twisted around, the second one hit her there. So that would make sense.
Yep, I'm moving that way.
Okay,
19. Lala had a 19.
Ew.
okay.
Turn the lights on.
Yeah, my initiative was a mere 14.
I'm gonna cast dancing lights.
Okay, where do you want the light to be centered at?
What is that? What was it have to do?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and put it.
Center on Dagar.
All right.
Then I'm
The
gonna-
light appears. You are no longer blind.
And then I'm gonna hit the deck.
Light sheds. Each light sheds 10 feet radius of dim light. Okay. You're gonna drop down onto like you're gonna lay down prone.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my turn.
All right. That's what you do.
I guess you could drink a healing potion if you have one.
Oh, do I?
I don't know. You have to check your inventory.
Maybe.
If you didn't write it down, you don't got it.
Well, hold on. I write things down everywhere.
I'll have you know I'm very disorganized.
Look under the picture that I assume is on there of a frog with tits.
It doesn't look like you do.
Who's
Here's
next?
some of my things.
She does not have any healing potions.
Okay.
So let's see. We didn't like stack up initiative like we usually do. I had a
Yeah.
8.
I had 17.
I had a 14.
Okay, 17, 14.
So, 17 next.
Yeah.
That's our cleric. Hey cleric, we have a hurting person.
Okay.
Meta.
I'm gonna go ahead and just. Well, I guess first I'm gonna see if I can see anything.
Okay, go ahead and roll perception.
Nope.
Okay, you don't see anything.
The answer is no.
Well, actually, that was an 11. That's probably close to seeing something.
11, you don't notice anything.
Okay.
You can't see anything.
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and. I suppose I will just. Go. Do a cure wounds. Lava. And then just cast my spiritual weapon, but I won't attack anything. Just. I don't know where.
Just have it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Those are both leveled spells. You can't use both those in the same turn.
Oh, you can't even with the bonus action?
No.
you can only do
You can only cast one spell that's a leveled spell and then a cantrip if you're going to do 2 spells in a turn.
I always forget that. Well, just for fun, I'll do the cure wounds and instead. Well, but the firebolt is a bonus action, so
It's an action.
still won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just do cure wounds.
All right.
then.
Okay. Lala gets some health. After that, was it Candle with the 14?
Am I visible?
What?
11 hit points.
You, once that light turns back on, you're far enough back, you probably are not.
Feet?
Because dancing lights is only a 10-foot radius of dim light. So
But
it's
but
not
each
like a
of
big
the-
bright light.
Each of the 4 lights is a 4-foot or a 10-foot radius.
Is a 10, yeah, but if it's all centered near Dermir, I mean, you could, if you kind of spread them out around Dermir, you're probably just in the edge of the dim light and would be visible.
I mean, either way. Since it's the first round of combat, I mean, I guess I don't know how big this room is. I'll move up to 40 feet towards the gate.
Okay.
Because I move faster on the first turn of combat.
To get like out through the gate will probably be about 60 feet of movement.
Well, I'm not
from
necessarily
the back
planning
end of
out
it.
through the gate. This seems to be a Gloomstalker.
That's the initial thought.
Somewhere around here. So I think I'll move the 40 feet forward and see if I can see anything.
Roll perception.
If I can figure out where this person is. My perception is a 22.
22. With a 22, looking around here, you are confident that there is nobody visible to see inside of this room. Maybe invisible and very still, but there's no signs of them inside of this area that you can see.
So it would, if I moved 40 feet, but it would take me 60 to get outside. Then there's like 20 feet-ish or 15 feet between me and the gate.
Yes.
Okay. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is bright light in a 20-foot radius, and an additional 20 foot of dim light. I'll cast light through my sword.
Okay, your sword lets off a bright light, and 20 and 20. With that, you don't see anything still, but it does illuminate out further and like out into the opening of this doorway is now at least illuminated with dim light.
I guess I am a turn.
Okay.
At least maybe I'll
After-
just try it now, being the first
After that is Axel, I believe, is all that's left.
Yep, it's just me. Just little old me. I guess. So he's probably out farther than the portcullis, and we don't have light out there, so I'm not gonna be much help. I will stand between Lala and the portcullis. Just like make some movement to get there. And I'm gonna cast Silent Image to be like a wall, like a brick wall that's behind me in between Lala and I. That's like above her prone body.
Okay,
So,
so
like-
something to kind of like be a visible, like a visual block for where she's at.
I
Behind
yell
you.
some kind of spell name like the Stone Wall. It's totally fake, but
Okay.
I yell it in like Draconic. Let's see, what do I speak? I don't speak Draconic because I'm not a. I mean, I'm a wizard. I totally speak Draconic.
Everyone speaks Draconic,
I
right?
say it in Dwarvish. I say it like in a
Okay.
mystic Dwarvish accent.
Sounds good. All right. Okay. Does a 22 hit you, Candle?
Yep.
How about a 19?
Oof.
Yep.
Give me
Okay.
missing those hit
I'll
points.
use a protective field.
Oh,
Okay, the first one will get protective fielded. What do you reduce it by?
9.
9. You'll take 2 damage from the first one. As like at the last second he swings his hand up and this bolt that kind of apparates from the darkness kind of glazes through it and kind of scratches
Does it
along
seem
your
to be
arm.
coming- do the bolts seem to be coming through the portcullis?
They do.
Okay.
It seems, and looking at it, whoever's firing these seems to be quite the adept shot. Actually, go and roll me a perception because you have this light and you're this close. Also, take another 8 damage as a bolt. The second bolt hits you.
Okay. My perception is a 13.
You can tell it's coming from in front of you, but you can't tell exactly like an angle of approach. But it seems like, I mean, you know that there's rubble and stuff out there, so it's got to be a fairly narrow window that it's coming through if they're not literally standing right in this doorway.
cast light on the portcullis itself.
It might be technically outside of the size limits of light.
Oh, on the little stack of rocks. On one of the rocks in the stack.
What we should do way more often, which is something we never do in this game, is cast light on an arrow or crossbow bolts.
Fair.
Or you can cast it on rocks and then pitch it into deep holes.
It's handy.
Like, it's just something we never do.
You know what I don't
This is
do?
really clever.
I don't have light, so I can't.
I'm just saying, in all of our many campaigns,
Sure.
it's something we don't do.
It's a handy trick.
Mhm.
Alright. Well, you take it. The second crossbow bolt has hit the candle.
Yep.
And then darkness.
And after that, it's back to the top of the initiative order for you guys, which is Zeraxis.
Okay.
I can.
I will follow Candle. Probably. I won't get as far him. Really?
I suppose I was thinking if I revealed myself, so I'd be like, oh, that's fucking Candle. I'm not gonna shoot at him. But no, they were like, shoot the funny looking bird man.
Assuming it's a Gloomstalker, not like a drow.
Just a stealthy drow. Not there in the darkness again.
What's the difference between a
Cu-
Gloomstalker?
Is Is Cure Wounds? I have to touch him.
Your wounds
Cast.
is touch to cast, yes.
Okay.
But you moved forward on your first turn as well, so you could move up to Candle if that's who you're wanting to cast it.
Yeah, but didn't he move up 40 feet?
He did, but you moved up on your first turn, and on his first turn he moved up 40. You have 30 feet of movement, so you moved up a little on your first turn, and then you could move the rest of the distance between you guys now that this is your second turn. You can get up to him.
Yeah, I'm like 10
Oh,
feet
well then, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move up to him, and I will cast Cure Wounds. Just give him back that, the 10 he lost. It's a. He will get.
It'll be a D8 plus your charisma mod.
Oh, okay. He will get 6 of those back.
Okay, get some healing. And is that your turn?
Yeah.
All right. After that, it is Theogar.
healing more than I do.
Well, I
She's
still
protected
can't
by
see
herself.
anything.
Of course.
I don't see shit.
I will move up into the portcullis. How
Okay.
far out from there can I see?
With where he's at, you can see like dim light 10 feet out from the portcullis.
I'll move that far.
Okay.
Could you ready an attack?
This thing would have to charge up to be in the melee range for it to make any sense. I'll just take the dodge action again and wait till I can see what I'm doing.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Maybe it's Mord and he's really fed up with your shit.
Lala, you're up.
Roll on the ground, try not to cry a lot. Well, he can
Oh,
see
damn.
us even if we can't see him. So you could hit him with a hypnotic pattern. Yeah. That would still work if you want to try that.
Yeah, I'll go for anything.
Okay, so Jocelyn's gonna try a hypnotic pattern out.
She's still at the back of the group, so to cast it's a cone from you, right?
Let me see. It's anyone within that can see it, I believe. Hang on.
I think it's a cone attack.
Let's-
99% sure it's a cone.
That's alright.
So unless I don't think you can cast it in the direction of the gate without hitting your
Blast
friends
the
right
whole team
now.
with hypnotic pattern. That'd be fun.
That'd be fun. I think you can only hit enemies with it. I don't think it has
Range 120 feet.
range 120 feet. Create a 30-foot cube within range. The pattern appears for a moment and vanishes. Each creature in the area who sees the pattern must make a wisdom saving throw. So, if you can.
So you have to be able to see where you're targeting, but you can make a 30-foot cube anywhere within 120 feet of you. So
So it won't work
for
if
how
you
far
want to.
back she is, I mean, you can choose to, but you have to hope he's within that 30-foot cube if it's
It's a bit of a shot in the dark.
So
gonna hit.
that's your. That's
A little bit
your
of a shot
choice
in the
there,
dark.
Is you can, yeah. You're either betting that he's within 20, essentially. If you put it on the edge of the dim light, right? That he's
Mhm.
within 30 feet of that dim light, essentially. So that's on you if that's what you feel like. Or hey, you could lay on the ground behind the cover. That's valid. You're hurt. So.
I'm going to cast Disguise Self and turn into a rock.
Disguise self only
you can't turn
turns
into a rock. It turns into
Yeah.
another humanoid-looking thing.
Yeah.
Damn it!
You would no longer look like a dragonborn, but you would.
You can make yourself look like someone else, which you might have been getting targeted before, so that might change.
It's an assassination attempt on you.
That is concentration, so that you'll lose the other source of light, but you do have Candle's sword as a source of
Could do
light now.
invisibility.
But then when I lose concentration,
Does invisibility count as concentration?
Yes.
then I will continue to cry on the ground and cry.
All right.
There's not much I can really do.
It's true.
Then it's Dermir.
The two people
cast daylight? That could be really helpful here.
How far out can you cast that up there?
Daylight's got quite the range.
No, I do not have daylight prepared.
Ah.
I have light prepared.
Well, that could be helpful as well if you can.
I feel like I'm more useful for heals. So.
No, you're good. I was just thinking because it's a 60-foot range with a 60-foot radius sphere that could cover quite a lot of.
Oh, I do have it prepared.
See, that's what I mean. I'm pretty sure we talked about how that'd be a really helpful spell for you to have.
Can you move up as far as you can and cast it out there and make it really bright?
It's got a range of 60 feet.
And then a radius of 60 feet on top of that.
Well, and another dim light of 60 feet. So it's 120 feet of light.
Yeah.
Radius, so 240 feet across.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's concentration.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Yep.
Okay. Nice.
You're basically gonna run up and like cast that on the gateway, just outside the gateway.
As far out outside the gateway as you can. Just 60 foot of bright light, so if you cast it 60 feet away from you, it lights up. It brightly lights 120 feet in front of us.
Yeah. Sure.
All right.
Glad you said that.
120 feet of bright light and another
60 feet.
60 feet past that.
past that.
Of dim light.
It's like I said, daylight when you're in the when it's like things that have advantage in the dark. Daylight is like the hard counter.
That's the hard counter, absolutely. So you run up and you cast out this light, and it is like a flash. Everybody's just like wince back as this bright beacon of light appears just through this gateway.
Gondor calls for aid.
Gondor.
Like
The beacons of Gondor are lit. And that's a bright light that's there. Those, I guess, Candle, roll me. It's your turn next. Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
I'm in front of Candle too if I see anything.
But it's true, you're out through the gate now.
I think I'm the first one out.
That's cocked. That's an 18.
An 18. You still do not notice anybody with an 18.
Shit.
Who's out there? Why are you shooting at us?
You big bastard.
Is that you, Gond?
It's a priest of God with his fucking.
Very sorry, very sorry.
I swear we weren't gonna do anything sacrilegious with the sacred artifacts.
Except for that hammer, it was looking at me funny.
Doesn't sound like it's gone. I really feel like he would have risen to the bait.
He would have said
He
something,
would
right?
have said something. I guess I'll head out through the gate as well, and I guess I'll dash.
Okay.
I want to get on, but I'm going to move off to one, like to the left a ways.
Okay.
So we can start trying to kind of triangulate where these crossbow bolts are coming from a little bit.
All right. Fair move. After that, it will be Axel.
I'll maintain concentration on
The stone wall.
yeah, my stone wall. It is totally protecting us.
Actual stone wall.
Actual stone wall.
Wall of stone. That's a high level spell.
Yeah. Listen.
I shouldn't fuck with this wizard. So are you staying put kind of back there
Yeah,
more
I'm
so?
gonna stay put and just have my Eldritch Blast finger ready for
Okay.
anyone that I see.
All right. From there, it'll go back to the top, and you went to the left. Interesting. Do this. I mean, it's not far enough. So, first one will have advantage, which will be another hit on Axel. This time for 26 to hit.
On Axel or on Candle?
On Candle. Sorry.
Which object in the party are you in?
It'll be for 7 damage as a crossbow bolt comes flying from up along the kind of ridgeline of rubble. That seems to be like if the first shot came from straight ahead, this shot seems to be coming from the left from where the original shot came from. Almost as if you moved in the same direction this entity moved in after firing previously. And you, after getting hit by this, can tell where it came from and can see fairly illuminated a like cowled figure holding a heavy crossbow up there who will take another shot at you.
Over here, a cowled figure with a heavy crossbow. Shot.
The second one is only a 14 though.
That will miss.
To hit. Okay. After firing that, you see them like drop down into the rubble, kind of like stepping back and out of your line of sight currently.
Classic maneuver. I'm a coward.
That better not be you out there, Gritch. I'll be real annoyed if you're shooting me with a heavy crossbow. All these years,
Correct.
viewing you as a father figure, and here you are trying to murder me with a crossbow.
What a dick.
Silhouette yourself on top of the ridge.
Come on, Gritch. Don't you recognize your boy? It's your son. Your adopted son, Candle.
Candle's really getting all his backstory out.
Right?
Look, you start shooting a man with a heavy crossbow. Just things come out.
So, from the gates, Candle went left. Like, if I want to dash and go straight.
You could just like straight out the front of this place.
Yeah, like go out the gate and then like take
You
a
could do
different
so
direction.
Yeah, you would get like a little ways into the rubble field surrounding here if you did that, just like barely into it. But if you dash double move, you could get into it out the front gate there a little ways.
I'll do that.
Okay, you are able to do so.
He's splitting up the party. He knows what he's doing.
From there, it will be Theogar.
Well, I was outside the gate when Candler got shot at. Did I see the same figure?
Yep. You don't you see that there's like a figure who fires from there and then goes back behind the rubble. You can tell the shot came from the left.
I will just dash in that direction, assuming it's more than 30 feet from me that I saw him.
Okay. Getting into the rubble field, both of you will notice this is going to be difficult terrain, so it'll be harder for you guys to kind of maneuver as you get up into the rubble field a little ways. But with you being further along, you get deeper into the rubble field. Go ahead and give me a perception check as you dash that direction a little ways.
6.
You can't really tell where he went to once you get out from there, but you know you're in the vaguely right direction of where he is.
Okay.
He's wily.
Lala.
What can I do?
You still got the big AoEs that you can sling around, but otherwise you'll have to close the gap and try to get eyes on them. On the upside, you're not on light duty anymore. You have to stay in the back with me, so he doesn't fucking cap you and knock our light out.
Like, basically, you have the light and breeze.
Yeah.
Maybe a fireball.
You're a flashlight and first aid kit right now.
I guess I'll stand up and head towards what I think is shooting at me.
Okay, you're still pretty close to the back. I mean, if you dash, you could get just outside the gate and out into kind of the open courtyard area.
Okay, I'll dash.
Okay, you dash out to there. You're not in line of sight of him yet, but you are out of this kind of building and out kind of where the chaos is happening.
Okay. Cool.
Dermir.
Well, I would have healed Lala, which ran away from me. Where are you? What's your health?
He's way out in front.
Yeah, I'm okay.
We're basically way in the back line at this point.
What is your hit points at, Jocelyn?
My hit points?
19.
Okay, you're okay.
He's fine.
You're fine.
Yeah, I'll just hang out back here and just maybe shoot a firebolt in that direction. Maybe I'll get lucky. I don't know.
You're like through a gateway to a pile of rubble that he's over here now. Like you'd just be shooting it at rock. There's no like slim chance even that it's in the vaguely right direction with where he's moved to.
We can
But you're welcome
start
to.
moving forward, and maybe we'll like post up on the portcullis,
Yeah.
you know, so that we're someplace where we can help. But
Well, but, I guess I can actually cast my spiritual weapon. So that's a little bit.
That will be concentration, I believe. So you'd lose daylight.
Oh,
yeah, can't have that.
okay, I won't do anything then.
We
Okay.
can move up to the portcullis so we're closer to everyone when we
Candle.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll do that.
It's my turn again.
No, it's my turn. Axel's turn.
Axel, sorry.
You guys, you're,
Wait,
sorry, you're getting
how
this
did I-
mixed up. Okay, I'll go and move up to the portcullis. Or I guess start moving that way, so I can get 30 feet of movement.
Well, no, it is Candle's turn,
Oh, what?
isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah, Candle just noticed him. He just noticed him. He didn't take his action yet.
Yeah. Yeah, you noticed
I
when
don't
he shot
think.
you. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're right. Because he had a
Yeah.
17, you had 14. Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I climb up into the rubble pile and see if I can see somebody skittering about,
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
or perhaps skulking about. It's in that particular feat, skulker. Perception check is a 17.
With a 17, you can not see the individual, but you can see some disturbed kind of tumbling rubble that seems to be continuing to move around this building to the left. Seems like this individual's moving very quickly along this rubble field around to the side of the building currently.
Well, if I take off my eye patch, can I use my magic eye to track him?
He's releasing.
It would
his
give you
full
advantage
power.
on it. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll give a whistle for the gang to follow, and assuming I find anything, which is going to be if this counts, if this continues to count as an
Sure.
Underdark survival check, it's a 25.
25. You think that because you're using supernatural means, you can find a trail to chase after this person. But it seems like this person probably would be borderline untraceable moving through the Underdark if you did not have supernatural means to track them with. As you can see heat, predator vision heat signatures where the feet falls.
I can see the
essentially.
heat from the footprints.
Uh-huh.
Using my mimicry, I give my best hunting hound bray, and
All right.
set off on the trail.
Okay. You start moving along that same path that this individual seems to have been taking. Then it is Axel.
Okay. So he's way out front, and then he's running further to the left over here.
Yeah.
Is that the idea? Is there a window on the side of the keep that I could go to over here?
Give me a perception check.
Perception check.
Perception.
16.
There are some windows.
I'll head that way and try to look out the window and see if I can spot our.
Hey, go ahead and roll me a perception check again as you get to the window.
So this is
19 that time.
19. Okay. You don't notice anything currently, but that 19 might come into play in a second here.
As I take a crossbow bolt.
it's like a skulker, gloomstalker ranger with pass without trace, with
He's stacked
who
up.
knows what
He's
else.
stacked up. I guess it was my action to do that perception check.
No, I'd say you saw an action.
Okay,
You
maybe
ran
it
over
has
to
a
the
cool
window.
weapon kind or something crazy.
There's all sorts of crazy stuff you can do. I'm gonna do a real sneaky beaky here. I'm going to post up on the side of the window, right, so I can see out.
Mhm.
But I want to cast silent image, so that the window looks like it's slightly over. If that makes so, it's
Okay.
yeah.
It might not be somebody could roll a check to try and see past
Right,
that
they can-
illusion,
they can still-
essentially,
if they
but
notice something
it looks a
off,
bit off.
Yeah, they can
Yeah.
roll an investigation against my spell save DC, but
Okay.
I'm basically ghosting the window.
All right, sounds good. You got it. From there it goes back to the
Mentions
top.
Wall hacks.
I am literally.
With a 19, you will see a individual as you're kind of peering through here. You'll be able to just see as an individual kind of crests at the top of a part of this ruin kind of pile up above here, and you see them kind of jump from this rock, and the cloak behind them kind of billow out, and they seem to almost float across from this top here to a higher up section of roof on the building you guys are in and kind of disappear into it.
Yo, I'll yell, he's in the building! Second floor!
As you say that, Dermir, a bolt strikes you from above with a 27 to hit.
That'll do it.
And that will be for 11 damage.
Alright, gotta beat a DC 10 plus your con. Looks like it's a con save.
It'll be fine. We're just literally fighting a guy we can neither catch nor see nor make attacks at or anything, you know?
The light has gone out.
Oh, you don't say. As you kind of like get stuck by a bolt and you look up and you can see something that your previous perception check was just quite not high enough to notice when you were looking at those windows, a breakdown section of the wall that a shadowy figure is kind of perched on top of holding a crossbow bolt. As you look up, the darkness kind of overtakes from this, and where there was once a person, you could see this distance with your dark vision, but this person disappears in the slot up there. But it does not stop a second bolt from coming from it at you, which this time will be a 22 to hit.
Daylight's not concentration.
It's not?
Not according to Costigan.
Duration 1 hour. That's all it says.
Oh, well then he is still visible up there. But the second one is still a hit, as this individual is still up there, and 12 more damage to Dermir.
Oof. Ouchie. Luckily, he's the healer, so he's always the closest to the heal spells.
Until he's dead.
Right.
And then he's the farthest.
And he's the farthest from the heal spells, yes.
And you see this individual from this kind of crack here. You see him like kind of leap off from there, and again this kind of cloak billow out, and he essentially floats up to somewhere in the second floor, landing up on that banister and moving up into the second floor of this building.
Alright, we need to play a zone defense.
Yeah, basically. I can.
Don't
If
beat
I
this
can,
man to man. We have the zone.
he'll beat us, man.
Is it back to my turn?
It'll go back to Zaraxis after that.
So,
You hear a ruckus coming from back inside the building.
I will immediately turn back around and
it's,
run back inside.
Real high mobility build here, so trap
Well,
count.
if I can get eyes on him for a full turn, I can cast Hold Person, which will at least get us something.
You do what now? Sorry, Zaraxis?
I turn back around.
Okay, you run back in towards the building, kind of dash back in. All right, you get back inside the building.
Do I see him or
You do not. They seem to be looking up towards the second floor banister area, though.
Yeah, and I
Alright.
called out that he was on the second floor.
You did.
All right. Actually, before. Well, no, I used my action. Never mind. That'll be my turn. Get back.
Theogar.
Do I kind of know where he jumped up to the second floor from?
You don't. No, not from where you were at,
I guess
because you were in. You got into the rubble field.
I won't be able to see if I go in there though.
There's still light.
Not inside. Inside on the second floor, I won't be able to see.
Well, there's a big hole in the roof. Surely the light would come through the hole in the roof.
There is a hole in the maybe dim light. It's not like a massive gaping hole. It's like a cracked off section of roof that was big enough for a person to fit through, and it's around the corner of this building from the light source itself. So it's kind of getting cascaded with shadow. There's enough dim light that if somebody would be invisible in darkness, they are not invisible, but it's not like bright light over there.
Well, that's the big thing Eric says. You know, he's literally invisible or just kind of hard to see.
Inside the building on the second floor, the light wouldn't like reach up through that around a corner through a doorway and around. Like that's far enough away. I guess maybe it'd be close. You're not sure. You'd have to get up there to see. It'd be right on the edge, but potentially there'd be dim light in those rooms.
Yeah, but you're not anywhere close right now, so best you can do is get back to where the back line's hanging out.
Can I drop my warhammer and shield, climb as high on the rubble as I can, and ready to attack with a longbow if he comes back out onto the rooftop where I can see him?
Sure.
Alright, I'm just gonna be up there ready to shoot with a longbow.
Trying to
You got it.
outthink it.
Who's next? After that, it will be Lala. No, Theagar. Excuse me, Theagar. No, that was Theagar. Lala.
I'll do that again.
I don't know what to do. I'm like very far behind.
Yeah, so he's up on the second floor. You could recast dancing lights maybe up into the second floor to help get some light up there.
Okay.
That might be helpful. Just so that way when the folks go up there, they have a better chance of seeing him. Since you can't get up to the second floor right now.
Has this been a human-sized person?
Yes.
This isn't like. Yeah, so it's not like it's not like
A halfling.
yeah, or like a minotaur or something like that.
It certainly does not look like it's Baron Halfblade who's doing this.
I don't think he would be going for this whole jump around, snipe him from a distance while invisible kind of bullshit.
You think he's more of the like, what's that loud thundering footstep noise quickly approaching me? Ah! More than the hip hopping around, zapping people with crossbow bolts.
Just check.
So what you doing, Lala?
I think I'm gonna cast dancing lights where I think they're at.
So kind of back up on like the banister area of the
Yeah.
second floor? Okay, that'll do a better job of keeping that area illuminated if he moves through there, definitely.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna try to catch up there and go up there.
Okay, kind of head back towards that direction. You have to kind of, it's an action to cast that and to move back after you ran this way, you're kind of having to backtrack, but you can get in that direction, definitely.
Okay.
Dermir.
I'm gonna go ahead and just do mass healing word.
Okay.
Is everybody within 16 feet probably of me?
I'm at full health.
Not everybody. Candle and Theagar are almost certainly not, because they're outside. Zaraxis ran back in. Everybody else would be, but I believe Candle and Theagar are both still far enough outside. They would not be within 60.
And I think as of right now, the only two injured,
Yeah.
only three are Theagar, Candle.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm
So
not
it would heal you two, but
Yeah.
that's the only two that it would heal.
Well, that's
No, so he's not in range.
okay. Never mind.
But
Um,
I mean, you can still heal yourself or Lala. You just can't heal both of you at the same time.
yeah, I was just thinking if between the three of us, if I can get Will. Yeah, I'll just do healing word on Lamar.
Okay.
So yeah. +2, right? Or not healing word.
Cure wounds.
Your wounds. You can move over to Lala and cast that.
10.
Hey.
Nice.
Good. Good.
Sweet. Big heal. And from there, it will be Candle.
How high up is this break in the wall? It's on the second floor. Like, would it be possible to climb to it, or from the outside?
Yeah, if it's probably like 20 to 30 feet up, probably higher than that, probably like 30 plus feet up. It's climbable because of the nature of the rubble around here. It'd be a check probably if you don't have a climb speed, but
Can I get
it's climbable.
to it and climb it this turn?
You could, if you are successful to check and dash essentially with your movement, I'd say you could get up to the hole in it.
Okay. I'll extinguish the light on my sword,
Okay.
so that we're slightly on equal footing. And I guess I'll try and climb up there.
All right. Go
Athletics or
ahead and
acrobatics are the same for me, so.
it'll be athletics, but doesn't matter.
8.
8. You are slow progress. You're not able to make it all the way up to the gap there. You kind of get stuck on the one spot that there's kind of awkward hand hold on. But you start making your way up it. You don't fall off and hurt yourself or anything, but you don't make it as far as you'd like to. That is Candle Axel.
I'm going to try and how do I want to do this? I could use my bird form again to try to get to the second floor and spot him.
kidding? Anybody who's not me is the best person to be tanky crossbow bolts.
That's true. That's why I'm not the best person to be tanking crossbow. I'm literally the worst person to be tanking crossbow. But I think if I can get eyes on him, then I can cast hold person and maybe lock him down long enough to get everyone over here. So I'm going to bonus action. Well, because if I turn to the bird, then I can't turn back because it takes a bonus action to turn back.
It takes an action to turn back.
Oh, an action. So
Yeah, it's a bonus action to turn in, an action to turn back.
yeah, so I wouldn't be able to cast hold person in that case. So I'll try to move since I was at the back already. Can I am I able to get up to the second floor while retaining my action, or do I have to?
To get to where he's at, you'd have to dash.
Okay.
Because you'd have to go up along those stairs and then back into the. It seems like he was like up into one of the rooms essentially up there.
Okay.
He's probably not made it much further than a doorway of one of those rooms up there, but you don't really know how much movement he has.
Okay. Am I able to? Oh. What if I use my action? No, because if I Misty Step, then I won't be able to cast another leveled spell, so it doesn't really matter in that case.
Not this turn, but it would that would make you get up there like pretty much immediately.
Yeah.
You'd with like that's 30 feet.
Yeah.
You'd have like you'd still have your action left, but you wouldn't be able to use it to cast a leveled spell. But Misty Step would certainly be able to get you caught up to where he went to.
You know what? Someone's got to put some dents in this guy. I'll use my movement in Misty Step to get up there.
Okay.
And if I can spot him, I'll Eldritch Blast him.
Okay. Kind of run. You run up and blink out of existence. It's kind of like I picture like a kind of black cowl of like ravens, kind of like, and then re-swirl and appear up on the banister, and you like kind of jump in, sliding into this room, and you see standing in the room holding a crossbow bolt what looks like a human, or at least humanoid person in a dark cowl. Looking at him, he kind of looks up at you with wide kind of eyes that are kind of white over the top of them, like not like they're like a blind person's eyes, but like almost like a kind of viscous layer of something is over the top of his eyes, and you can see creeping up the side of his face what looks like some of that black fungal like mossy growth that's been on around here. And as he kind of looks at you wide-eyed, you can see he's standing in this room with some of this growth and stuff around him, but he's certainly within your line of sight.
I'll yell Myconid and fire my two Eldritch Blades.
All right, roll him.
First one is a 20 total, dirty 20.
20 hits.
Okay, and I need a D10. That is gonna be 12 damage, Reno.
12 damage. Okay.
And the second blast is higher,
Okay, that still hits.
and that one will be 10 damage, Reno.
All right, two
Agonizing
really
blast
solid
has
hits.
Shown its worth. And I guess I probably don't have enough movement to like duck back out of the doorway or anything.
No, that was the
I
how
have
tall
framed
to get there.
myself for a bolting, but you know what? I did a bunch of damage to him in return, so it's
You're fixing
Even trade, baby.
even trade.
And that will be the top of the initiative, which will go back to him. And this individual will kind of raise up the crossbow as he was like gets blasted twice, raise it up, and then you see him turn and step towards the wall instead. And as he does so, you see him kind of press his hand up against a section of this moldy overgrowth, and it kind of parts and wraps around him as he steps into it and sort of sinks into the wall, disappearing from your line of sight. As this happens, though, you don't necessarily know that it's at this exact moment that this happens. Candle, your alarm spell goes off.
Which one? Bum, bum, bum.
The candle spell, or the I don't know if you get to have both up at the same time. I guess you can.
There's no
They only last an hour. There's no concentration. I assume you know which one it is. Your alarm spell leading into the deep dark hole goes off.
Yeah.
And I think we will see what that means next time on Skygate. As this individual seems to have ducked out, and either something's come out of the hole or it's descended back into it. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we will see what happens in that deep, dark hole next time on Skygate.